want to give a shout out to the Sowa Rigpa group and their Yuthok Nyingthig program that they did. So there's a lot of different books from Dr. Nita Chinangsan. I recommend people to read if you're interested. If you're a healer in the healing practices like me, I'm an acupuncturist and herbalist. The Tibetan Book of Health is really good. And then there's the Neijang. I recommend reading this one first so you can get to some of the basic practices, like some of the breath retention and bumpa chin, so you're clear on that, and some of the health practices. And there's a lot of overlap because you'll see that in a lot of the Chinese medicine, like massaging the arm or massaging the kidneys or rubbing the legs. That's a lot of that kind of stuff. There's two other books that I read too that I have in my Kindle. Let me just pull up the Kindle real quick. These are all good books to read before getting into the Yuthok Nyingthig, because one side of the coin is all the Tibetan medicine and yogic practices, and then the other side is the Yuthok Nyingthig, which is the meditation practices. And he puts it out really well. I've studied Tibetan medicine or Tibetan Buddhism since around 1991, 1992 with Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. One book is called the Yoga of Bliss on Karma Mudra, which is like the Tibetan version of Kama Sutra, but it's its own tantric practice. That's the one you can do with yourself and with a partner, circulating the sexual energy. And then the last is the Mirror of Light, which gives you a foundation of the Yuthok Nyingthig's version of Dzogchen. Now, the way I look at this is from the Medicine Buddha perspective. I had the Medicine Buddha Empowerment probably around 1992, 1993 from Lati Rinpoche at University of Virginia. If you don't know, they have a huge Tibetanology program at University of Virginia. It was, the head at the time was Jeffrey Hopkins, who did a lot of translations. And so he would bring monks all the time from Tibet, and so Lati Rinpoche came and did the empowerment and transmission of Manjushri and Medicine Buddha. And at the time, I only learned the Medicine Buddha practice and mantra, but now, when I look at the Medicine Buddha picture, I see so much more. There's so much more into it. So Yuthok, there's two Yuthoks, Yuthok the elder and Yuthok the younger. I believe it was Yuthok the younger that put all the teachings together into the Yuthok Nyingthig. So let's talk a little bit about it. So what Dr. Nita did was, during the pandemic, they went over the Yuthok Nyingthig one practice a week. So they started with the empowerments and everything, and to bless you into doing the practices like the empowerment and transmission, getting the blessings from the teacher to practice this. Hold on a second, let me pull up my little breakdown. So the first is starting to familiarize yourself with Yuthok, the understanding of the sutra teachings, the tantric teachings, because our foundation is from Hinayana, the elder path. Then there's Mahayana on top of that, Vajrayana, and then Hatha Yoga, Dzogchen on the top, okay? Think of it like a pyramid. And so the first is familiarizing yourself with Yuthok. There's a practice called eliminating the obstacles, where we do some breath retention and reciting the mantra and feeling empowered in the three channels and the chakras. There's going to be a lot of breath retention in here, in our, essentially the Dantian, where the three channels meet. Let me grab a picture. So kind of here, where the three channels meet, right there, okay? Of course, these aren't real channels. You can't dissect a person and you're going to find those channels. They're just a representation of the energy body. So we have our physical body, an energy body and then a non-body, or mind or consciousness. So we do that. We practice that one before sunrise, and to get the blessing of Yuthok. And they say, when you practice that sincerely, you'll get a message from Yuthok. I had a friend come over for Tai Chi, and I had practiced that before dawn, and then I had practiced it for probably about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and there was in a clear blue sky, there was a rainbow above my house. Of course, it was like thousands of feet in the sky and everything, but it was like the most bizarre thing. I was teaching and I didn't have my phone with me. I would have took a picture, but I thought it was a auspicious sign. So then you do the Ngondro, which is the foundation practices, the preliminary practices. That's working with your the secret form prayer to Yuthok, the refuge prayer, bodhicitta prayer, are four immeasurables. Wishing happiness, joy, freedom from suffering, and equanimity to all beings. Working on prostration, our mandala offering, this type of thing. So you're putting yourself in a pure land to receive the Dharma teachings. Doing your mantras and something called kusali, which is and vajrasattva practice, like some purification practice and self-offering practice, and then dedicating your practice to all beings. And then we go into what's called creation stage, the guru yogas. Now, the real guru yoga is not worshiping something outside of yourself. The true guru is the natural state. They call like Rigpa. Of course, the group is called Sowa Rigpa. And so that is the true guru. Guru just means someone that takes you out of darkness, or takes you out of the forest. Like you're lost in the forest and the guru helps you out. That's the true meaning of guru. And ultimately, you are your own true guru. Okay? And so there's the outer guru practice, the inner guru practice, the secret practice, and the concise practice. The outer guru practice is familiarizing yourself again with Yuthok, kind of similar to the eliminating obstacles practice. And then there's the inner guru yogas where you're working with the 5 chakras. Then you have your secret guru yoga practice, which is you're circulating kind of like a reverse microcosmic orbit. And then the concise guru yoga practice, which is kind of like a microcosmic orbit direction. And then there's also a Dakini practice that I practice on Dakini Day. You do once a month. It's kind of similar to the inner yoga practice. And then we have the 6 yogas of the completion stage, the same as the 6 yogas of Naropa, if you've heard of those. This is working with Tumo, which they recommend doing in the morning time. Illusory body yoga, which is seeing the world. We have to, break down ourself. Ourself is just basically energy. We need to break away from the illusion of ourself and the illusion of things are solid. Like these glasses, they're really not solid. There's just a bunch of atoms and energy clumped together. Kind of like looking at the world as energy, okay? And trying to free ourselves from dualism. And then there's the dream yoga, where we work with our dream energy, our dream state. Now, if you dream a lot, you should do dream yoga. If you just sleep a lot and you don't dream a lot, you do what's called clear light yoga or sleep yoga. And And then there's 2 practices for the time of death. You practice it now in this life, so when you do come to death, you know what to do. One is Powa, where we eject the consciousness out at the top of the head. And he's got 2 versions. I really like his gentle version. If it comes to the more powerful version, I will use probably Tenzin's, what I learned at the Limita Institute. And then there's Bardo Yoga, purifying your dimensions at the time of death. Okay, and then finally, so that's completion stage, and then now you finally get to the higher yogas, the Karma Mudra, which I mentioned earlier, using the lower chakras and bringing that energy up and down the central channel, and then working with a partner, like a sexual partner, and purifying the chakras. And then there's Maha Mudra. Maha Mudra is working with the upper chakras. And those are going to be... Maha Mudra is the same as Vipassana or mindfulness meditation. So just keep that in mind. And then Hatha Yoga or Dzogchen, which is going and abiding in the non-conceptual state. So we worked on each one of those for a week, over 100 days. And I've been working on that since December. And there's really a lot to do, but he teaches you how to work all that information into a daily practice. And so I do recommend it if you are into Tibetan Buddhism and you're a healer and you want to take yourself to the next level, then go ahead and do that. All right, namaste, have a great day. Bye.